All right, I like to do all my ironing done at once. So I went ahead and I took my K vertical card slots and my L interfacing. And I put the interfacing like so, and then folded all these in half and pressed them. So I pressed those and I put them aside. And then I also did my H card slots. So I'll show you how to do this in a minute. For this beginning part of the pattern, we are going to do what I call the horizontal card slots. So this top section, the horizontal card slots, and then we do the vertical card slots, and then we do the pocket. So for these horizontal card slots, you need your piece D, which is the main lining, this back piece that everything is on. Piece E, which is the main card slots. Piece F, which is the border here. It's in a different color on the illustrations for the pattern just to make it a little easier to see, so there's not so many pieces that are all the same color. G is this back piece. H is the interfacing reinforcement that goes underneath each fold. I is only for the large and only if you are doing the phone compartment, and it will be this gusset piece on the bottom. So we're gonna now set all of these aside except the E card slot piece, and I will show you how to iron those. All right, I started ironing and then I realized I wanted to show you how I do this. So before I did mark these creases on the side. This is 2 1/4 inches from the bottom, 1.75, 2 1/4, and then 1.75 again. So we'll pretend I haven't ironed this yet. It's flat. I fold it like this. I put it right side down and fold this bottom piece back. And I like using this seam gauge, and then I can measure it at 2.25. Plus I made those marks before on the right side, so I can use that to help me figure out where my crease is. I iron that, and I turn it back this way, and I am now at 1.75. And I place that right here and fold upward. Then I pull back this and put my iron right here. Now I'm back at 2 1/4. I have the centimeter equivalent on the pattern. Okay. And then I press this crease. And the final one is 1.75. My birds are going crazy in the background. Okay. So my total height should be 3.5. And this will be a little, this part is taller than this crease because it includes the seam allowance. So I'm good for now. And I will do the same thing with my with my small. And for this one, this had a top and a bottom because of the design on it, but this did not. So on the back, I made sure to mark the top when I was marking these different marks so that I can remember while ironing, oh yeah, this is the top, because it'll be slightly off if I mix that up. So this one I'm going to do just with my side marks instead of the ruler. I'll see if it's accurate enough. Oh, this is even faster than using the seam gauge. This one I marked on the back, the other one I marked on the front. I think I prefer marking on the back a little more. I was able to see those easier. And then let me check it, and it is just over 3.5 inches tall. So I'm gonna get out my seam thing and check my folds. This final fold, I'm going to make just a little bit deeper. Three and a half. All right, I'm good. Okay, I have ironed my card slots. So I'm going to set aside this piece, and I need my reinforcement pieces H, and everything else I'm going to stack up and move to the side. I'm going to start off with just 2 of these H pieces, and the other one I'm going to set aside. And these will be going inside these folds. And I slip them on the inside, and they don't go all the way to the edge. I like to keep some bulk away from the side seams, so it's sandwiched inside there. I like to lengthen my stitch just a little on these. And then I am going to stitch all the way across. I chose brown thread. I hope that shows up because I know I have a kind of busy fabric that I chose. And then the second one will go in this second fold. Okay, I have these top stitched, and I need my 2 F pieces. I'm going to put this right side together with one side of these card slots. And then I'm going to do that same thing with the other side. And I'm going to sew these with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Increase my stitch a little bit, And now I'm going to top stitch this. I'm kind of regretting my fabric choice, but I had tried some different fabrics and I didn't want broadcloth for this one. I wanted cotton, and ultimately I went with this because I think my grandma will like this, and I'm going to make this for her. Okay, so if you are doing the foam compartment, you're going to keep, I'm going to show you how to do that next. If you're not doing the foam compartment for the large, if you're making a large without the foam compartment, or if you're making this small, go ahead and fast forward the video. Actually, you might be able to just turn it off and go to the next video. Nope. All right. Back at step 17. Join in with us. And you can see at the very bottom of the page, or in the description for the video, I have time stamps. So go to step 17 and you'll join back in with us. For those of us doing the phone compartment, you'll need the piece I phone gusset piece. I'm going to take these and place them right sides together. And I'm going to sew around 3 sides, leaving one of these long edges open. To trim these corners. And turn it right side out, making sure to poke the corners out. This works best if you can go and press it flat. For now, I'm just going to finger press it because I've turned my iron off and I don't want to go put it back on right now. And then I'll put some clips like this just to help flatten it. There. I need my card slots. And I am going to, okay, I'm going to take these off now. I'm not sure why I did that. I guess it's the stress of making a video. You do weird things sometimes when you're making a video. This is where I wish I had this in a different color. I am going to center this on the bottom with the raw side of the gusset matched up with the bottom raw side of this fabric. I'm going to get out my ruler and measure this. I don't think you can quite see what I'm doing, but I'm going to measure it to make sure it's in the center. I hope that's centered. I have to have my hands really far forward to get that onto the video. Okay, I'm going to get my length of my stitch and baste this into place. And we have a 1/4 inch seam allowance in this pattern, or 6 millimeter. So anytime you're basting like this, make sure you're keeping it within that 1/4 inch 6mm seam allowance. All right, for a minute, I'm going to set that aside. And then I'm going to get out my elastic. My elastic is 1 inch wide, and it is 2 1/4 inches long. And I'm going to fold it back just 1/4 inch. And then I need my Velcro, which this is 1 inch wide Velcro by 1/2 inch. And for this piece, I'm going to take the scratchy side. Now this is going to get stuck to my Band-Aid. The scratchy side, and I'm going to place it right on top of this place where I folded it back. And for now, I am going to do that because I'm going to change my thread from brown. Okay, I changed my thread, and I'm going to sew this around. You can do a rectangle, or when I'm using Velcro, I prefer to use zigzags. And I zigzag all the way around. Extra tails because I had to stop midway and fix my thread that had gotten messed up. Okay. I'm going to take this finished piece and I'm going to center it at the very top of this, and the Velcro is going to be facing the card slots. So let's see, this is about 3 1/4 from this seam. Let's see if that matches up over there. 3 1/4, yes. And I am going to still have it on zigzag, that's fine. I'm just going to zigzag back and forth. And keep that in place. Okay, if you are doing the small or if you're doing the large without the foam compartment, this is where you will join back in, and you will need your piece G, and you're going to place these together. I am going to sew this, and I'm using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. My sewing machine wants to eat the edge. Now, because we're turning it right side out, sometimes we lose a little bit of the width. So I like to do a scant 1/4 inch on this seam, and it turns out a little better in my opinion. The scant 1/4 is just almost a 1/4 inch, but not quite. Of course, it's hard for me to see because I'm sewing with white thread. I forgot to switch back to brown on white, and if I move my head forward too far, I hit my camera. So after this, I will have to make sure I switch my thread back. When I get to the elastic, I'm going to go back and forth. I like to just always, when I have something, a strap or elastic or something sticking out of a seam, I like to go over it several times to make sure that it stays stable. All right, and now I'm going to turn this right side out. Okay. If you want, you can go and press this. Right now, I'm just finger pressing these seams. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to switch back to my brown thread. All right, back to my brown thread, I'm ready to top stitch this. And here's my remaining piece H. It was a reinforcement piece, remember? And I am going to slide this in. Oh, my children are coming home and are about to burst in loudly. Okay, I've got my reinforcement piece on the inside, centered as best as possible. And I am going to increase my stitch length a bit and top stitch across this top part. I am also going to top stitch across the bottom, but if you're doing the small or if you are not doing the foam compartment, don't top stitch across this bottom seam yet, because later on when you attach it to the lining, you're going to be sewing across there, so there's no need to top stitch that now. But for me, I am going to top stitch it because I am doing the foam compartment. Alright, if you're not doing the foam compartment, you don't need to watch the rest of the video. You can just go on to the next video. But for those doing the foam compartment, oh, you know what? I'm actually wrong. Okay. Everybody, this part is for everyone to sew a line across the middle. And I like to do double lines. So let's see, 3 3/4 from each side. Puts me right here. And then I'm going to, yep. All right, I'm going to start here on the bottom, and I'm measuring 3/4 from here. And then I'm actually going to go just a little bit to the right of that. And forward and back a little bit. And I'm going to sew all the way up, making sure I stay just a little bit, a hair to the right of my 3 3/4 inch mark. And then when I get up here, I turn and just do 2 stitches. And then follow that all the way down. So if you want, you can get some cards. Mine are in a drawer right here, and of course I can't quite reach them. I keep a bunch of old cards and things that are cut into card shape so I can test out card slots. So I can test and both sides fit. So if you are not doing not doing the foam compartment, you're done. But for the foam compartment people, you need to sew down the other side of your Velcro. I'm going to go back to my zigzag stitch, and my Velcro needs to be centered from side to side, which if you're using inch wide Velcro means you're 3 3/4 from each side. Oops. This is hard to do when I'm reaching far away and can't see what I'm doing. To stay in the video. And 1 inch from the top. So it should be right about here. Okay. And I'm going to leave the brown stitching, even though it's going to show up a little more. Alright, and the nice thing about putting this Velcro in right here is that later on it'll help you remember which side is top and which side is down with this lining piece. But for now, you can set it aside.